The story focuses on an orphan named Saya who was forced to go to the sanctuary in Greece to obtain one of the cloths, the bronze cloth of the Pegasus constellation, a protective armor worn by the Greek goddess Athena's 88 warriors known as saints. Upon awakening as Cosmo, Saya acquires the ability to unleash the true power of a saint through what is variously described as the burning, explosion, or Big Bang of his Cosmo. He then quickly becomes the Pegasus saint and returns to Japan to find his older sister. Because his sister disappeared the same day Saya went to the sanctuary, Saori Kido, the adopted granddaughter of Mitsumasa Kido, makes a deal with him to go to fight in a tournament called the Galaxian Wars. In this tournament, all the orphans who survived and became bronze saints must fight to win the most powerful cloth, the Sagittarius Gold Cloth. If Saya goes to compete there and wins, Saori would start a search to find Saya's sister. The tournament is interrupted by the vengeful Phoenix Bronze Saint, Iki, who wishes to eliminate the people who forced him to undergo his especially harsh training. He steals parts from the Sagittarius cloth and eventually fights against the remaining bronze saints, Saya, Shun, Shiryu, and Hyoga. Upon Iki's defeat, the bronze saints are attacked by the silver saints sent by the sanctuary's corrupt pope to eliminate them. When they prevail, the bronze saints learn that Saori is Athena's reincarnation and that the pope once tried to kill her as a baby. The previous Sagittarius Gold Saint Aelos saved Saori but was mortally wounded shortly after escaping and gave Saori to her adopted grandfather. Deciding to join forces with Saori, the bronze saints go to the sanctuary to defeat the pope, but upon their arrival, Saori is severely wounded by a gold arrow from a silver saint and will die at the end of the day. Believing the pope may be able to heal her, the bronze saints go to find him. To do so, they must go through 12 temples, each one guarded by one gold saint. Some of these gold saints are friendly, but others are just as corrupt as the pope and take a sick pleasure in fighting the bronze saints. Following several battles, Saya gets to the pope's temple and learns that he is actually the gold saint Gemini Saga, who suffers from a split personality, one good and one evil. His evil side took over completely and had killed the real pope to obtain more power. With help from his friends Cosmos, Saya is able to knock out Saga and use the shield from Athena's statue to heal Saori just in time. Shortly afterwards, Saga, his good side having regained control, commits suicide as a self-punishment. In the second story arc, the Greek god Poseidon reincarnates within the body of Julian Solo, the heir to a rich and powerful family, and plots to flood the earth. Saori goes to his temple, where Julian offers her to reduce the flooding by absorbing the water inside the ocean's central pillar. Following Saori, Saya, Hyoga, Shun and Shiryu go to Poseidon's underwater temple and are confronted by his underlings, the Marines. As Saya, Hyoga, and Shiryu make their way to Julian, Iki learns that the mastermind behind this conflict is Saga's twin brother, Gemini Cannon, who is manipulating Poseidon. During the final battle, Poseidon's spirit awakes within Julian and manages to defeat his opponents. Saved by the saints from the pillar, Saori seals Poseidon's soul within her amphora. The third and last arc follows how Hades, the underworld god, is freed from his seal and revives the deceased gold saints and the Pope Ares Shion, and alongside some of his 108 specters, sends them to the sanctuary to kill Athena. The remaining gold saints serving Athena are able to subdue the enemies, but Saori then commits suicide. This act is instead meant to directly send her to the underworld to face Hades, and the bronze saints follow her. Shion reveals that the revived gold saint's true intentions were of giving Saori her own cloth so she could fight alongside her knights, and gives it to Saya's group before dying once again. In the underworld, as the saints fight Hades' specters, Shun is possessed by Hades. Saori reaches Hades and expels his soul from Shun's body. Hades then takes Saori to Elysium, and the 5 bronze saints follow them. In the final fight against Hades and his 2 subordinates, the gods Hypnos and Thanatos, the saints gain the all-powerful god cloths and use them to aid Saori in defeating Hades. However, Saya also sacrifices himself by receiving one of Hades' attacks, and the saints return to Earth with his body. The story follows a boy named Genki Sakura, who is a key player of the Monster Rancher video games. After winning a tournament hosted by the game's creators, Genki wins a special CD that he can use to unlock a special monster in his game at home. However, upon using this disc in his game console, he finds himself transported to a world of monsters that, much like Genki's game, are given life by scanning special stone discs within temples. There, he meets a girl named Holly and her monster friend Suezo, who are seeking a stone disc containing a legendary phoenix that will save the land from the tyranny of an evil ruler named Mu. Upon attempting to use the disc Genki had won to try and release the monster, they bring forth a different monster, which Genki names Moki. Wanting to free the land from Mu's rule, Genki, Holly, Moki, and Suezo set off to find the phoenix, using Holly's magic stone to guide them in the direction of the phoenix. The magic stone leads them to Golem, Tiger, and Hare, each of which have their motivations to join the group on their journey to find the Phoenix. It is revealed that Mu is actually Holly's missing father, who merged with an evil spirit after being banished from his village. Determined to separate Mu's evil spirit from Holly's father, the group continues their search for the Phoenix, defeating Mu's strongest minions, the Big Bad Four: Pixie, Gully, Grey Wolf, and Naga. In their travels, the gang befriends and aids many monsters as they continue searching, unlocking as many mystery discs as possible in the hopes of finding the Phoenix. One of these unlocked monsters, Monol, tells the group of a previous war between Mu and the Phoenix, as part of a larger war between humans and monsters, who exploited monsters as workers and companions in a futuristic society that destroyed much of the world and weakened the two entities into their dormant states, separating their body and souls. In the end of the first season, Mu's body is found and merges with Holly's father. Shortly after, the Phoenix's body is found, and it is revealed that the five monsters, Moki, Suezo, Golem, Tiger, and Hare, are pieces of the Phoenix's soul. Understanding what must be done, they say goodbye to Genki and merge with the Phoenix's body, and begin to fight Mu. As the two beings fight, Mu realizes that good and evil are inherently inseparable, and that the two are doomed to repeat a perpetually repeating fight as representatives of the two forces. The two monsters seemingly die, and Genki is knocked back into the real world in the resulting explosion, comforted by visions of his friends as he goes home. The second season consists of Genki returning to the monster world to revive and reunite his friends, who were turned into discs and separated after the fight with Mu. The gang must compete in a series of tournaments against General Durahan's army in their pursuit to find Holly's father. The third season ends with Genki and the others battling the soul of Mu that has possessed Durahan. During the credits of the final episode, it is revealed in the Japanese version that both Genki and Moki are able to travel between both the Monster Rancher world and Earth. In the distant future, mankind has colonized space, with clusters of space colonies at each of the 5 Earth-Moon Lagrange points. Down on the Earth, the nations have come together to form the United Earth Sphere Alliance. This alliance oppresses the colonies with its vast military might. The colonies, wishing to be free, join together in a movement headed by the pacifist hero Yui. In the year after Colony 175, Yui is shot dead by an assassin, forcing the colonies to search for other paths to peace. The assassination prompts 5 disaffected scientists from the Organization of the Zodiac, more commonly referred to as Oz, to turn rogue upon the completion of the mobile suit prototype Tallgeese. The story of Gundam Wing begins in the year after Colony 195, with the start of Operation Meteor. The scientists plan for revenge against Oz. The operation involves 5 teenage boys, who have each been chosen and trained by each of the 5 scientists, then sent to Earth independently in extremely advanced mobile suits, one designed by each of the scientists, known as Gundams, called such because they are constructed from a rare and astonishingly durable material called Gundanium alloy, which can only be created in outer space. Each Gundam is sent from a different colony, and the pilots are initially unaware of each other's existence. The series focuses primarily on the 5 Gundam pilots: Hero Yui, an alias, not to be confused with the martyred pacifist, Duo Maxwell, Troa Barton, Ketra Raberba Winner, and Chang Vu-Fei. Their mission is to use their Gundams to attack Oz directly, in order to rid the Alliance of its weapons and free the colonies from its oppressive rule. The series also focuses on Relena Peacecraft, heir to the pacifist Sank Kingdom, who becomes an important political ally to the Gundam pilots, particularly Hero, over the course of the series. Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, also known in Japan as New Mobile Report Gundam Wing 2, Shinchido Senshi Gandamu Wuingu, Shinkido Chenki Gandamu Wing, is a 1995 Japanese mecha anime series directed by Masashi Ikeda and written by Katsuyuki Sumizawa. It is the 6th installment in the Gundam franchise, taking place in the After Colony timeline. As with the original series, the plot of Gundam Wing centers on a war in the future, specifically, after Colony 195, between Earth and its orbital colonies in the Earth-Moon system. The series aired in Japan on the terrestrial TV Asahi Network. It ran for 49 episodes, beginning on April 7, 1995 and ending on March 29, 1996. It received multiple manga adaptations, as well as video games. 4 original video animation, OVA, episodes were produced, including a retelling of the series, Operation Meteor, and a direct sequel, Endless Waltz. In 2010, Sumizawa started writing the novel Frozen Teardrop, another sequel to the series. While the series fared modestly well in Japan, it found greater success in the United States and popularized the Gundam franchise in the West. The successor to Mobile Fighter G Gundam, this series combined Bizounen character design with more traditional real robot anime to great popularity. Detective Conan, Mai Tante Konan, Mai Tantiai Konan, also known as Case Closed, is a crime manga series. This comic is written by Gosho Aoyama. The series began in 1994. The manga series has been made into an anime television show. It has been on the air from 1996 to the present time. Detective Conan is about a teenage detective named Shinichi Kudo, who is poisoned by an evil group called the Black Organization. The poison was supposed to kill him. However, the poison instead turned him into a small child. Shinichi adopts a new identity as Conan Edogawa, and lives with his girlfriend, Ran Mori, and her father, Detective Kogoro Mori, under the pretense that his parents are away and unable to take care of him. As a child, Shinichi/Conan helps Kogoro solve murder cases, while trying to find the evil men who poisoned him, to steal the poison and create an antidote. The Black Organization is an international crime organization, and its main activity is assassination, trading, and inventing new drugs. The code names of the members are usually named after liquors. For example, gin, vodka, and vermouth. Ihibara, who invented the drug Shinichi took, was a member of this organization, but when she was locked in handcuffs, she took the same drug Shinichi took, and became a 6-year-old girl and escaped from them. Her old code name was Sherry. When Detective Conan first arrived in the United States, the name was changed to Case Closed in English for legal reasons that were never specified. 2. Some of the character names were changed as well. Shinichi had his first name changed to Jimmy. Ran Mori became Rachel Moore, while her father became Richard. Hiroshi had his first name changed to Herschel. Heiji Hattori became Harley Hartwell. Sonoko Suzuki became Serena Sebastian. Ihibara became Anita Haley. However, Conan kept his Japanese name in English. Gadgets. Glasses. Detective Conan has huge glasses with non-vision correcting lenses. The glasses have many functions: radar, thermography, telescope, listening microphone, directional microphone. Watch. With a tranquilizing gun function. This watch can only store one tranquilizing needle, so Conan must use it wisely. Bow tie. With a voice-changing function. Conan puts Richard to sleep with the tranquilizer watch and solves cases using his voice. DB button/badge. DB means Detective Boys. The micro-transceiver is built in the button. The communication range is less than 20 kilometers in radius. Skateboard. With a turbo engine function. Conan uses this to pursue criminals. Shoes. The item reinforces his kick power. Conan can kick soccer balls in order to knock out the criminal. Suspenders. With a stretch function. When Conan switches the suspenders on, the suspenders stretch and shrink freely. Button speaker. Wristwatch flashlight. The world of Detective Conan has a set of internal rules that might catch unfamiliar readers of the manga and spectators of the anime off guard, such as the lack of information sharing and the regular illogical and irrational behavior exhibited by many characters. The universe is mostly consistent within its rules, with a few exceptions. The passing of time is difficult to judge, due to a literary device known as a floating timeline, which enables the compression of 20+ years worth of events and technological upgrades into less than 1 year. Yu Yu Hakusho follows Yusuke Urameshi, a 14-year-old street-brawling delinquent who, in an uncharacteristic act of altruism, is hit by a car and killed in an attempt to save a young boy by pushing him out of the way. His ghost is greeted by Botan, a woman who introduces herself as the pilot of the river Styx, who ferries souls to the underworld where they may be judged for the afterlife. Botan informs Yusuke that his act had caught even the underworld by surprise and that there was not yet a place made for him in either heaven or hell. Thus Koenma, son of the underworld's ruler King Enma, offers Yusuke a chance to return to his body through a series of tests. Yusuke succeeds with the help of his friends Keiko Yukimura and Kazuma Kuwabara. After returning to life, Koenma grants Yusuke the title of Underworld Detective, charging him with investigating supernatural activity within the human world. Soon Yusuke is off on his first case, retrieving 3 treasures stolen from the underworld by a gang of demons, Hiei, Kurama, and Goki. Yusuke collects the 3 treasures with the aid of his new technique, the ray gun, a shot of aura or reiki fired mentally from his index finger. He then travels to the mountains in search of the aged, female martial arts master Genkai. Together with his rival Kuwabara, Yusuke fights through a tournament organized by Genkai to find her successor. Yusuke uses the competition as a cover to search for Rando, a demon who steals the techniques of martial arts masters and kills them. Yusuke defeats Rando in the final round of the tournament and trains with Genkai for several months, gaining more mastery over his aura. Yusuke is then sent to Labyrinth Castle in the Demon Plane, a third world occupied solely by demons, where Kuwabara and the newly reformed Kurama and Hiei assist him in defeating the four beasts, a quartet of demons attempting to blackmail Koenma into removing the barrier keeping them out of the human world. Yusuke's next case sends him on a rescue mission, where he meets Toguro, a human turned into a demon. To test his strength, Toguro invites Yusuke to the Dark Tournament, an event put on by corrupt, rich humans in which teams of demons, and occasionally humans, fight fierce battles for the chance to receive any wish they desire. Team Urameshi, consisting of Yusuke, Kuwabara, Kurama, Hiei, and a disguised Genkai, traverse through the strenuous early rounds to face Team Toguro in the finals and win the tournament. They learn that Team Toguro's owner, Sakyo, was attempting to win to create a large hole from the human world to the demon plane and allow countless demons through. With his loss, Sakyo destroys the tournament arena, killing himself in the process. After the tournament, Yusuke returns home but has little time to rest as he is challenged to a fight by three teenagers possessing superhuman powers and who end up taking the detective hostage. Kuwabara and the others rescue him and learn that the whole scenario was a test put on by Genkai. It is disclosed that Shinobu Sensui, Yusuke's predecessor as underworld detective, has recruited 6 other powerful beings to help him take over where Sakyo left off, opening a hole to the demon plane to cause genocide of the human race. Yusuke and his friends challenge and defeat Sensui's associates one by one, culminating in a final battle between the two detectives. Sensui kills Yusuke then retreats into the newly opened portal to the demon plane. Yusuke is reborn as a partial demon, discovering that his ancestor passed down a recessive gene that would hide until an heir with sufficient power surfaced when his demonic lineage would be revealed. Yusuke travels to the demon plane and defeats Sensui with the aid of his ancestor who takes control of Yusuke's body to finish the fight. As they return to the human world, Yusuke is stripped of his detective title in fear that Yusuke's demon blood could cause him to go on a rampage in the human world. Yusuke, unsettled at having been controlled by his ancestor Raizen, accepts an offer by Raizen's followers to return to the demon plane. Raizen, desiring a successor to his territory, is on the brink of dying of starvation, a death that would topple the delicate political balance of the 3 ruling powers of the demon plane. Hiei and Kurama are summoned by the other 2 rulers, Mukuro and Yomi, respectively, to prepare for an inevitable war. The 3 protagonists train in the realm for 1 year, during which time Raizen dies and Yusuke inherits his territory. Yusuke takes the initiative and proposes a fighting tournament to name the true ruler of the demon plane, which is agreed upon by Mukuro and Yomi. During the tournament, Yusuke and Yomi meet in the second elimination round where Yusuke is defeated. Yusuke hopes a similar competition will be held every few years to determine the demon plane's ruler. 2 years later, Yusuke returns to the human world while Hiei stays with Mukuro and protects humans who have accidentally wandered into the demon plane. After learning that King Enma was falsifying reports on demon activity against humans in order to justify keeping the two separated, Koenma takes over his father's position and allows access between the demon plane and human world. Genkai dies and leaves her estate to the cast. The story ends with Yusuke and his friends reuniting at a beach. Lupin III, the grandson of the fictional gentleman thief, Arsène Lupin, is considered the world's greatest thief, known for announcing his intentions to steal valuable objects by sending a calling card to their owners. His right-hand man and best friend is Daisuke Jigen, an expert marksman who can accurately shoot a target in 0.3 seconds. Although Lupin and Jigen frequently work as a 2-man team, they are often joined by Goemon Ishikawa 13, a master swordsman whose sword can cut anything, and Fuyiko Mine, a femme fatale and Lupin's love interest. Although Fuyiko usually works together with the others, she occasionally exploits Lupin's interest in her to steal the treasure for herself. Lupin and his gang are constantly chased by Interpol Inspector Zenigata, who has made it his life's work to arrest them, pursuing Lupin across the globe. Lupin III was written and illustrated by Monkey Punch. It was serialized by Futabasha in Weekly Manga Action in 94 chapters from August 10, 1967. Additional chapters known as Lupin III New Adventures were released from August 12, 1971. Tokyo Pop licensed the series for North America, and released all 14 volumes between December 10, 2002, and July 6, 2004. The Tokyo Pop edition is adapted from the Cha Koran Shinsha edition from 1989. Monkey Punch began publishing the second Lupin manga, Shin Lupin III in Weekly Manga Action on June 23, 1977, until 1981. 3 chapters were published in the British magazine Manga Mania between May and July 1996. Tokyo Pop licensed the second series, and released the first 9 volumes as Lupin III, World's Most Wanted between September 7, 2004, and July 10, 2007. Tokyo Pop later cancelled the series due to low sales. Like the first series, the Tokyo Pop release was based on the Cha Koran Shinsha edition from 1990. Since 1997, a number of manga series have been created by several artists and released in several Futabasha magazines. On August 27, 2004, Futabasha launched Lupin the Third Official Magazine, a quarterly publication of Lupin the Third manga by various authors. Yutaka Abe and Jiro Maruten produced a 3-chapter adaptation of the Lupin the Third vs. Detective Conan TV special. From August 25, they also created a manga adaptation of Lupin the Third vs. Detective Conan, the movie for Shogakukan's Shonen Super Sunday magazine. An isekai spin-off manga, Lupin the Third, Neighbor World Princess, written by Yosuke Saiki and illustrated by Keiaki Uchi, began serialization in Akita Shoten's Weekly Shonen Champion on August 26, 2021. Monkey Punch did not ask permission to use the Arsène Lupin name, and at the time Japan did not enforce trade copyrights. By the time LeBlanc's estate launched legal action in Japan, the name was considered to have entered into common use. However, this was not the case in North America and Europe, and several foreign releases of Lupin the Third media dropped the Lupin the Third title, and the character himself was renamed to Rupin or Wolf. In France, the series was known as Edgar, Detective Cambrioleur, Edgar, Detective Burglar, with Lupin himself renamed Edgar de la Cambriole, Edgar of Burglary. Monkey Punch stated that using the same character design, behavior, and face would be illegal, but using a name alone is not illegal. In 2012, LeBlanc's original Arsène Lupin entered the public domain in France due to 70 years passing since his death in 1941, and is in the public domain for any country that enforces the rule of the shorter term. Toriko is a gourmet hunter searching for the most precious foods in the world so he can create his full-course meal. A man with inhuman ability, he utilizes his incredible strength and knowledge of the animal kingdom to capture ferocious, evasive, and rare beasts to further his menu. He is accompanied by the weak and timid chef Komatsu, who, inspired by Toriko's ambition, travels with him to improve his culinary skills and to find rare ingredients. Toriko and his friends often fight against the Gourmet Corps, who seek to take control of the world's entire food supply and are looking for the highly sought-after ingredient God, which the legendary gourmet hunter Acacia used to end the war that took place 500 years before the series began. The planet of Toriko is separated into two parts, the human world and the gourmet world. The human world is where modern civilization exists and occupies just 30% of the planet. The rest is the gourmet world, which is inhospitable to most humans due to the strength of the wildlife and extreme climate changes. In the gourmet age, which began 5 centuries ago at the end of the 100-Year War, the taste and texture of food is extremely important. The International Gourmet Organization, IGO, maintains order and defends civilians from dangerous animals and gourmet criminals. Originally set up by the United Nations, the IGO is now independent from them and holds more influence as it is composed of 360 nations. They apply a numerical rating from 1 to 100, referred to as capture levels, to most ingredients based on the difficulty of acquiring it. The IGO has a group of 7 individuals with highly sensitive taste, called the Gourmet 7 or G7, that are in charge of assigning the star ranking of restaurants and the ranking of chefs. Individuals known as gourmet hunters, who have usually trained their abilities to that of superhuman, are regularly hired by restaurants and the rich to seek high-level ingredients and rare animals. One can also increase their strength by implanting gourmet cells into their bodies. Gourmet revivers are those who dedicate themselves to protecting ingredients from extinction or exhaustion, and who can also arrest people that partake in the transaction of illegal goods, violate poaching laws, or causes extinction of an entire species. Written and illustrated by Mitsutoshi Shimabukuro, Toriko was serialized in the manga anthology Weekly Shonen Jump from May 19, 2008, to November 21, 2016. The 396 individual chapters were collected and published into 43 tankobon volumes by Shueisha between November 4, 2008, and December 31, 2016. Readers and fans of the series were able to submit ideas and designs for monsters and ingredients that appear in the manga. At San Diego Comic-Con International 2009, Viz Media announced they had licensed Toriko for English release. They released the 43 volumes from June 1, 2010, to August 7, 2018. The manga premiered in the February 2010 edition of a digital supplement available only to subscribers of Viz's printed Shonen Jump magazine. When the printed magazine ended, Toriko was one of the launch titles of its digital successor Weekly Shonen Jump, starting with chapter 171 in its debut issue on January 30, 2012. The Toriko and One Piece crossover was sent out free to annual subscribers of the magazine who signed up before April 30, 2012. Madman Entertainment released the first volume in Australasia on July 10, 2010, and have released 26 volumes as of April 10, 2015. Shimabukuro collaborated with Eiichiro Oda, author of One Piece, for a crossover one-shot of their series titled Taste of the Devil Fruit, which ran in the April 4, 2011 issue of Weekly Shonen Jump. There is also a spin-off manga series titled Gourmet Academy Toriko, written by Toshinori Takayama and illustrated by Akitsugu Mizumoto. It was serialized in Saikyo Jump from December 3, 2010 to December 2, 2016, with the chapters collected into 9 tankobon between April 4, 2012 and December 31, 2016. In the 32nd century, a man known as Vash the Stampede has earned a bounty of $60 billion, double dollar, on his head and the nickname the Humanoid Typhoon, after accidentally destroying a city with his supernatural powers. However, whenever he is attacked, Vash displays a pacifist personality as noted by 2 Bernardelli Insurance Society employees, Meryl Streif and Millie Thompson, who follow him around in order to minimize the damages inevitably caused by his appearance. Most of the damage attributed to Vash is actually caused by bounty hunters in pursuit of the $60 billion double dollar bounty on Vash's head for the destruction of the City of July. However, he cannot remember the incident due to retrograde amnesia, being able to recall only fragments of the destroyed city and memories of his childhood. Throughout his travels, Vash tries to save lives using non-lethal force. He is occasionally joined by a priest, Nicholas D. Wolfwood, who, like Vash, is a superb gunfighter with a mysterious past. As the series progresses, more about Vash's past and the history of human civilization on the planet is revealed. Vash and his twin brother Knives were originally 2 children with a slow aging process found in a spaceship that escaped from the planet Earth after mankind had exhausted all its resources. Rem raised them, but Knives became nihilistic and had most of the people in the ship disposed of. As a result, Vash lives to find his twin and have revenge. Vash is targeted by Legato Bluesummers from the Gung Ho Guns assassins who are followers of Knives. Wolfwood himself is a Gung Ho Gun but was hired to make sure Vash does not die and instead suffer. Vash and Knives both possess the Angel Arm, which Knives forced Vash to use in the series beginning to destroy the town. Vash eventually fights Knives but is defeated. Wolfwood betrays Knives and saves Vash. In the aftermath, Wolfwood dies fighting one of the Gung Hos. His friend, Levio, joins Vash's cause while grieving for his friend's death. As Knives approaches the city with the Ark, a floating ship designed to leave humans without any resources and end life on the planet, Knives begins dueling with Vash. Throughout his past battles that required him to use the Angel's Arm, Vash has transformed into a regular human signified by his blonde hair now turned black. Knives also starts losing the powers he stored with the Ark through Vash's actions. Vash then saves his brother from the vengeful ships from Earth. Following his defeat, Knives uses his last powers to help his weakened brother by creating a small fruit tree to feed him. After his brother's death, Vash continues his travels on the planet with Meryl and Millie. Trigun was adapted into an anime television series. It was animated by Madhouse and directed by Satoshi Nishimura, written by Yosuke Kuroda, and produced by Shigeru Kitayama. The music was composed by Tsuneo Imahori. 26 episodes aired on TV Tokyo from April 1 to September 30, 1998. The episodes were collected in 13 VHS cassettes, labeled as stages, from August 5, 1998, to August 4, 1999. In North America, the series was first licensed by Pioneer Entertainment in 1999. 8 DVDs were released from March 28, 2000, to May 29, 2001. A box set containing all the episodes was released on November 20, 2001. The series premiered on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim programming block on March 31, 2003. The series also premiered in Canada on G4 Tech's Anime Current programming block in 2007. In the same year, Gen Eon announced that they would cease their in-house distribution. In 2008, Funimation announced that they signed a deal with Gen Eon to distribute select titles from the company. In 2010, they announced that they had licensed Trigun for a DVD and Blu-ray disc home video release, and launched it on October 26, 2010. Following the announcement that Funimation would be unified under the Crunchyroll brand, the series began streaming on the platform in May 2022. In Tokyo, a disaffected high school student named Light Yagami finds the Death Note, a mysterious black notebook that can kill anyone as long as the user knows both the target's name and face. Initially terrified of its godlike power, Light considers the possibilities of the Death Note's abilities and kills high-profile Japanese criminals, then targets international criminals. 5 days after discovering the notebook, Light is visited by Ryuk, a Shinigami and the Death Note's previous owner. Ryuk, invisible to anyone who has not touched the notebook, reveals that he dropped the notebook into the human world out of boredom and is amused by Light's actions. As criminals around the world die from inexplicable accidents and heart attacks, the global media suggests that a single mastermind is responsible for the mysterious murders and name them Kira. Hoping to apprehend Kira, Interpol requests the assistance of an enigmatic consulting detective, known as L, to assist their investigation. Deducing that Kira is based in Japan, L tricks Light into revealing that he is in the Kanto region of Japan by manipulating him to kill a decoy. Furious, Light vows to kill L, whom he views as obstructing his plans. L deduces that Kira has inside knowledge of the Japanese police investigation, being led by Light's father, Soichiro Yagami. Under the suspicion that Kira could have family ties with members of the Kira investigation, L assigns a team of FBI agents to monitor the families of those connected with the investigation, and L learns enough to designate Light as the prime suspect. Around this time, Light graduates from high school to college. L recruits Light into the Kira task force, with each trying to get the other to reveal crucial information. Actress model Misa Amane, having obtained a second death note from a Shinigami named Rem, makes a deal with Rem for Shinigami eyes, which reveal the names of anyone whose face she sees, at the cost of half her lifespan. Seeking to have Light become her boyfriend, Misa uncovers Light's identity as the original Kira, but Light has another motive. He intends to use Misa's Shinigami eyes to discern L's true name. L deduces that Misa is likely the second Kira and detains her. Rem threatens to kill Light if he does not find a way to save Misa. Light arranges a scheme in which he and Misa temporarily lose their memories of the Death Note, and has Rem pass the Death Note to a less morally driven individual, Kyosuke Higuchi of the Yotsuba group. With memories of the Death Note erased, Light joins the investigation and, together with L, deduce Higuchi's identity and arrest him. Light regains his memories and uses the Death Note to kill Higuchi, regaining possession of the book. After restoring Misa's memories, Light instructs her to begin killing as Kira, causing L to cast suspicion on Misa. With Light insinuating the investigation would lead to Misa's capture and execution, Rem realizes Light's plan all along was to have her sacrifice herself to kill L, as a Shinigami may not kill others to prevent a human's death. After Rem kills L, she disintegrates and Light obtains her Death Note. The task force does not announce L's death and agrees to have Light operate as the new L. With Light working as both L and Kira, the investigation stalls, but crime rates continue to drop as he no longer has a threat of capture. 4 years later, cults that worship Kira have risen. 2 young men, raised as potential successors to L, are revealed, Nier and Mello. Mello joins the Mafia whilst Nier joins forces with the US government. Mello kidnaps director Takamura, who Light then kills, so Mello kidnaps Light's sister and exchanges her for the Death Note, using it to kill almost all of Nier's team. A Shinigami named Sito goes to Earth to reclaim his notebook and ends up meeting and helping Mello. Light uses the notebook to find Mello's hideout, but Soichiro is killed in the mission. Mello and Nier exchange information and Mello kidnaps Mogi and gives him to Nier. Kira supporters attack Nier's group, but they escape. Aizawa becomes suspicious in Light and meets with Nier. As suspicion falls again on Misa, Light passes Misa's Death Note to a fervent supporter of Kira, Teru Mikami. He also appoints newscaster Kiyomi Takada as Kira's public spokesperson. Nier has Mikami followed whilst Aizawa's suspicions are confirmed. Realizing that Takada is connected to Kira, Mello kidnaps her. Takada kills Mello but is killed by Light. Nier arranges a meeting between Light and the current Kira task force members. Light tries to have Mikami kill Nier as well as all the task force members, but Mikami's Death Note fails to work, having been replaced with a decoy. Perusing the names Mikami had written down, only Light's is missing, which proves Light is Kira. Light is grievously wounded in a scuffle and begs Ryuk to write the names of everyone present. Ryuk instead writes down Light's name in his Death Note, as he had promised to do the day they met, and Light dies. 1 year later, the world has returned to normal and the Kira task force members are conflicted over whether they made the right decision. Meanwhile, cults worshipping Kira have risen, led by a woman resembling Misa. 3 years later, Nier, now functioning as the new L, receives word that a new Kira has appeared. Hearing that the new Kira is randomly killing people, Nier concludes that the new Kira is an attention seeker and denounces the new Kira as boring and not worth catching. A Shinigami named Midora approaches Ryuk and gives him an apple from the human realm, in a bet to see if a random human could become the new Kira, but Midora loses the bet when the human writes his own name in the Death Note after hearing Nier's announcement. Ryuk tells Midora that no human would ever surpass Light as the new Kira. When arriving in Tokyo in the 11th year of Meiji era, 1878, the former Isshin Shishi Himura Kenshin wanders around Japan until reaching Tokyo. There, he is attacked by a young woman named Kamiya Kaoru, who believes him to be the Hitokiri Batosai but ends up forgetting about him upon the appearance of a man claiming to be the Hitokiri Batosai, tarnishing the name of the swordsmanship school that she teaches. Kenshin decides to help her and defeats the fake Batosai, revealing himself as the actual former manslayer who has become a pacifist. Kaoru invites Kenshin to stay at her dojo, claiming she is not interested in his past. Although Kenshin accepts the invitation, his fame causes him to accidentally attract other warriors who wish him dead. However, Kenshin also meets new friends including the young Myojin Yahiko who wishes to reach his strength but ends up becoming Kaoru's student, the fighter for hire Sagara Sanosuke from the Sekiho army who realizes the current Kenshin is different from the Isshin Shishi he detested for killing his leader Sagara Sozo, and the Dr. Takani Megumi who wishes to atone for her sins as a drug dealer, inspired by Kenshin's devotion to his past. Rurouni Kenshin, sometimes called Samurai X, is a Japanese anime television series, based on the manga series of the same title by Nobuhiro Watsuki. The series was produced by Studio Gallop, episodes 1-66, Studio Dean, episodes 67-95, and SPE Visual Works and directed by Kazuhiro Furuhashi. It was broadcast in Japan on Fuji TV from January 1996 to September 1998. Besides an animated feature film, 3 series of original video animations, OVAs, were also produced. The first adapts stories from the manga that were not featured in the anime series, the second is both a retelling and a sequel to the anime series, and the third was a reimagining of the second arc of the series. The series was later licensed in North America and released on DVD by Media Blasters. The first 2 seasons aired in the United States on Cartoon Network, as part of the Toonami block, while the third season was only featured on DVD. The English-language versions of the OVAs, as well as the film, were originally released as Samurai X in North America, although the original name was included on the later DVD and Blu-ray disc releases. Rurouni Kenshin has ranked among the 100 most watched series in Japan multiple times. A second anime television series adaptation by Leiden Films is set to premiere in 2023 on Fuji TV's Noitamina programming block. Rurouni Kenshin, directed by Kazuhiro Furuhashi, began airing on Japan's Fuji TV on January 10, 1996, and ended on September 8, 1998. It was produced by SPE Visual Works and Fuji TV, and was animated from episode 1-66 by Studio Gallop, whereas the episodes from 67 onwards were animated by Studio Dean. The anime only adapts the manga up until the fight with Shishio. From then on it features original material not in the manga. The final episode did not air in Japan, but was a bonus episode for the VHS and DVD releases. Since its premiere in Japan, episodes from the series have been collected in DVDs various times, 2 DVD series with both of them featuring 4 episodes per volume and 3 DVD boxes. 26 collected DVD volumes were released in Japan.